Hey, all right. Yes. Yes. He doesn't know it, but he's going to do a tight five later. Get ready. Please, get ready. So, super excited to be here tonight. How we doing? Good? Super excited to be here tonight. I see some people I know. I see some people I love. Thank you. And I see some people I don't care for. Doogie, good to see you. But we're all here and we're going to have a great night. Before we get into the chuckles and the giggles, I want to give a shout out to Eric and Trish who own this bar. Give it up for Eric and Trish. That's why we're here. So Trish and I work in the same office building together. We're both in the nonprofit world. She works for an organization called Apex, and I work for Goodwill. And the people from Apex are great. They do really great work. In fact, if you're from Apex, I'd love to hear from you right now. Can I hear from you, from the Apex people? A small but mighty crowd. Well done. Well done. Apex does really important work. They work with at-risk youth and families. And the best part is they only do it 2 days a week. Seriously, they're never in the office ever. They take a lot of holidays, every holiday, good for them. And when it comes to incremental weather, they don't take any chances. Last Tuesday it was cloudy and they shut it down. They locked it down. They were like, we can't do this. We can't change lives if the sun's not out. So, but they're great to work with. I know there's some Goodwill people here tonight as well. Goodwill people, can I hear you? Wow, Trish, a little louder for the Goodwill peeps. Of course, we drink a lot more. You know, I started with Goodwill last summer, and I waited about 6 months to tell them that I did stand-up comedy because I was nervous, and you'll understand why in about 10 to 12 minutes. But they're here tonight, so let's just pray that I have a job tomorrow. So Trish shows up at my door a couple months ago, and she says, hey, I heard you're a comedian. And I'm still new at this, and I just never know how to respond to that. And I realized that my response is based on who's asking. You know, if it's a group of guys, kind of big, tough guys, and they're like, what, you a comedian? No, I'm not a comedian. I don't tell jokes, that's not what I do. But I'll tell you what, if it's a group of ladies, hi, I'm Matt Minnelli, I'm a professional stand-up comedian. I'm actually currently on tour. I have a Netflix special coming out, which is very exciting. And as I thought about why the different responses, I think it's because, you know, I kind of been sold this bill of sale that women are into senses of humor. Guys, how often have we heard that, right? Oh, I love a sense of humor. Sense of humor is so sexy. It's number one on my list. Well, let me give you some data. I've been doing comedy for about 1.5 years, and the ROI with the ladies is 0. Not a text, not a phone call. No one has slid into my DMs, whatever the fuck that means. No drunk person has come up to me afterwards and said, hey, that was funny, do you want to make out? None of those things have happened, which tells me that one of two things is true. Number one, I'm not that funny. Thank you, Othello. I'm not ready to admit that at this point in my career. The second is that women, you exaggerate just a little bit when it comes to how much a sense of humor means to you. I think it's important, I really do. But if it's attached to the Elephant Man, I don't think you're that interested, right? I had a gal I worked with the other day, she goes, my number one right now is Ryan Reynolds, and it's because his sense of humor. Fuck you. There's no way he's in your top 5 if he doesn't look like a Greek god on top of that. I heard once that there's no attractive white male comedians.
So are.
And I thought about that. And if you go back in the history, Rodney Dangerfield, Jim Gaffigan, Bill Burr, Adam Sandler, it's true. There's not an attractive white male comedian. I mean, look at the lineup tonight. None of us are walking the runway anytime soon. And that's a problem for me, and here's why. I would rather someone think I was good looking than funny. And I know that's shallow, and I know that's vain, but it's just who I am, and I'm comfortable with that. So Trish comes to me and she says, let's do a comedy show. And I'm excited because while I've done some of these, I've never hosted a show. It was my first time hosting a show. And I think what I have working in my favor tonight is that I think expectations for the host are usually pretty low. Like, you guys aren't expecting greatness from the host, which is great, because you're not going to get it. Not from me. I'm going to give you a steady dose of mediocrity, and I'm going to pass it on to the real comedians. When I thought about these low expectations, I thought about other areas of my life where I really strive with low expectations. Work is a big one for me. My boss is here, and she sets the bar really low, and we get along great. Relationships is another one. You know what? If you're not expecting much from me, we're going to do really well. In the bedroom, similar. If you go in thinking this won't be terrible, then it won't be that bad. And that's an actual quote from someone I've been with. So that's a review, I guess is what the kids call it. That's a 5-star review for me. Pretty exciting. I got to tell you, I have hosted or emceed other events in my past, though. I do a lot of Catholic fundraisers, which are okay. I don't love them. I can't do any masturbation jokes, which is sad for me, but really sad for my mom. She loves when I do masturbation jokes. Like, the look on her face, like the sense of pride when I do a masturbation joke is just unbelievable. So that's
my baby.
And these fundraisers, what happens is it ends up being just a bunch of rich assholes who don't listen, talk all night, really loud and obnoxious, and then at the end of the night they write a big check and they feel good about themselves, you know? I'm sure you guys have run into people like this, people who are terrible human beings 6 days a week, but then go to church every Sunday and judge the rest of us, right? You guys have seen these people? There's actually a term for this. They're called Christians. And it's okay. I'm a recovering Catholic myself, so I can say that. I had an interesting MC experience this summer. I got to MC a triathlon. And it was a really depressing event for me. Basically, they handed me a microphone and said, hey, here's 100 people who are in better shape than you. Have fun. And I just felt like a pile the entire time. There was a woman who was 6 months pregnant who finished that triathlon. Meanwhile, I was looking for a volunteer to grab a chair because I was standing for 7 minutes. Started to cramp up a little bit. The worst part was their families would greet them at the finish line and like cheer them on, like, Mom, Dad, you did it. That was gross. My son, he has proper expectations for me. Last week I got the jar of pickles open and he was like, not bad. That is not bad. You did pretty well. Little did he know it was for a pickleback chaser for my whiskey, but he doesn't need to know that stuff, right? That's just kind of how we do. I emceed a divorce trial once. Ended up costing me about $80,000. So that wasn't great for me, not a great ROI there. So I'm excited to host my first comedy show. I'm excited for the opportunity. We have 3 great comics here tonight. I mentioned divorce. I am divorced. Show of hands, who here is divorced? Any divorcees in the crowd? Yes, I love it. You guys seem excited about divorce, which is great. I have a bit of a mixed bag when it comes. You know, there's some days where I'm just really excited about it. Like, yes, I'm divorced. There are other days where I cry in the shower. And on those days, I use my tears as a lubricant. And I wish you could see my mom's face right now. She's so proud of me. I love you, Mom.
Right back at you, baby.
Let's take it a step further. Anyone here twice divorced? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yes, there we go. So I too am twice divorced, and when I wrote this bit, I could go one of 2 ways. If I'm the only one, I go this way, but if there are more of us, I go this way. So let's go this way, because it looks like we have a pretty fun group here. Good for you guys. So when someone finds out that I'm twice divorced, what happens is they start kind of doing an assessment in their head, kind of trying to figure out what's wrong with me. And you can see him kind of checking the boxes along the way. Is he an alcoholic? Does he have anger issues? Does he have a small penis? And while all those are true, I don't think it's why I'm twice divorced. I think it's bad luck. I'm not an alcoholic, for the record, but I have had some issues with alcohol. Those aren't my words. Those are my ex-wife's words, but it's fair. It's a fair assessment, I think. But I'm really excited. This is breaking news. I haven't told anyone. Guys, I am 28 days sober today. Guys, give it up for that, huh? 28 days, unbelievable. Now, let me give you some background. I'm doing Dry February. Now, I know what you're thinking, Matt. Isn't it Dry January? You're right, it is Dry January. But what happened was dry got really, really wet for me. It was a really moist month for me.
I hate that word.
Now, let me ask you this. A lot of people struggle with the word moist. And it sounds like you're some of these people. For me, I don't understand it. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it feels in my mouth. And I will tell you, I think it's a perfect description of what it's describing.
Well, alrighty then.
Right? So let's play a little game here, right? It's used to describe so many things. So you guys finish the sentence for me. Wow, this cake is delicious. It's so
Moist.
This towel is damp. It's so
Moist.
These panties are so
Moist.
See? It's a perfect description. Now, panties is another word that people really struggle with. And I don't get that one either because it's an item of clothes. It's an item of clothing, and I don't know what else you would say. What do you, undergarments? Fucking weirdo. I mean, bloomers, undergarments? I mean, I don't call my boxers dick covers. I call them boxers, right? I remember a group of us from work was having a conversation about this, words we don't like, words that we don't like hearing. And it was the usual suspects, right? Moist, panties. Someone brought up the C word, which I cannot say because I'm not my brother Dave, who uses it in front of my mother and somehow sleeps at night, and I don't know how. But there was one girl in the group, she said, you know what word bothers me? And I'm like, yeah, what? She's like, fingered. And I was like, well, no shit, that's a terrible word. She's like, I was watching a show last night and they said, we fingered the perp. And I said, okay, in that you gotta stop watching crime shows, right? I mean, if that's the context you're hearing it in, you gotta get out more, right? I mean, no one likes that word. So I'm twice divorced, right? I have some issues with alcohol. So I'm doing great. I'm doing really well. One thing that has helped me with this 28 days, I've discovered the world of NA beers. Any NA beer drinkers out there?
Hell no.
Yeah, no.
Why?
Shocking, the loud person said no on the NA beer. But I discovered NA beers and they're a game changer for me. I mean, I'm drinking a lot of them. And because they're non-alcoholic, I'm having them in the morning. I had a couple before lunch. I have a one-on-one with my boss tomorrow. I'll probably slam a couple then. Last night I had 19 before bed. Am I doing it wrong? I feel great in the morning, so I don't know what the problem is. I guess it's the calories. I don't know. So while I'm twice divorced, my parents are here tonight, and last week they celebrated their 53rd wedding anniversary. Give it up for my parents. Unbelievable, unbelievable. It's a big year for them. Later this year, they'll celebrate their 53rd high school reunion, and my oldest brother will turn 53. So I don't want to do the math for you.
Matthew.
Let's just say it was a big year for them. Very, very big year for them. My parents keep it fresh, though. They do. They find new ways to argue all the time. This summer, they were having a classic argument that I think a lot of us have, the temperature in the house. You guys always argue over that. But my mom started using some technology to help, right? Which is interesting choice for her. And she used the humidity percentage on the iPhone weather app. Have you seen it? This was her go-to for her argument right now. So it'd be hot in the house and she'd say, it is 88% humidity in here. Like, we gotta turn the air on. Nope, not yet. A couple days later, she's like, you know what? It's only 50% humidity. You're off the hook this time. She called me one night. She said, it is 99% humidity in here. He won't turn the air conditioner on. She moved in with me for a week. It was beautiful. But you know, when I think about, I have two older brothers. We had a great childhood. Really happy, never wanted for anything. But you know, when you're younger, the things that happen in your house feel normal. And when you go to other people's houses, that's weird, right? But as you get older and you get some distance from it, what you realize is, no, you're fucking weird. Your family's the weird one. And I'll give you a couple examples. Did you guys ever get a nice little treat before dinner? Maybe a snack, maybe some, something, a little tasty morsel. Maybe you did well in school, maybe you cleaned your room. So in our house, the little surprise treat before dinner was a raw potato. Little chunk of raw potato.
They love them.
My mom just said they love that stuff. So my mom would be making dinner, and she'd call to us boys and say, hey, who wants a treat? We'd come running in, me. And she'd hold up this little piece of raw potato. And we'd box each other out like, oh my God, raw potato, this is amazing. Sometimes there was a little skin on it. Oh my God. Sometimes a little dirt still from the bag. And I look back at it now, do we not have a piece of chocolate in the house anywhere? I remember who would ever get it would be like, oh my God, this is so starchy. Oh my God, it's so good. What a great snack. Another unique thing about our house growing up was the bathroom situation. We had one bathroom for the 5 of us. And I remember going to other people's houses and be like, second, third, fourth bathroom. What do you guys use these for? Who uses these bathrooms? I'm like, let me ask you this. When you're taking a shower, who comes in and takes a shit while they're smoking Marlboro Reds? Anyone? Does anyone do that when you're showering? Or is that just me? It's when I started realizing maybe that's not everyone. Like, I remember being in the shower like, why don't I feel clean? Open the curtain, my dad, hey. Good morning. And if you were lucky enough, he hadn't brushed those eyebrows yet, and they were all over the place. Jesus. We were a smoking household, which I think a lot of us were, right? A lot of us grew up in smoking households. And my friends never had issues with the house. It was the car that they struggled with, right? Yeah. We'd go on road trips in the summer, windows up, AC on, both parents blowing darts in the front seat. My friends would be like, I can't breathe. I'd be like, listen, once your lungs blacken, you'll get used to it. Everything will be fine. Just calm down. Everything's gonna be okay. So now I'm a dad. I have a little boy. He's gonna be 6 in a month, and it's really cool. He goes to kindergarten. He goes to the same school that I went to as a kid, and it's a Catholic school, which is fun. And I love that he's back in that same community that I was. But what I wasn't ready for was kind of the religious talk when he comes home. He's talking about God and Jesus and this Holy Spirit character that they tell him about. Right before Christmas, he said, Dad, guess who's coming next week? And I was like, Santa Claus, right? And he's like, no, Dad, Jesus. And his look of disappointment only got worse when I said, wait, then what's Easter? If that's, I thought that was Easter, and it was a whole conversation. But I'm trying to support him in his Catholic journey right now. And I decided I'd just start acting more like Jesus. So I grew the beard, which apparently didn't work. Thank you. We do a lot of fish at the house, which is fun. And I think I'm really taking it to the next level. I've invited a lot of prostitutes over the house. And you guys laugh at that, but I'll tell you what, not one of them has complained about the humidity percentage in the house. And I think it's good for a starter relationship. So Guys, I'm super excited about tonight. We got a couple great comics here, 3 great comedians here tonight. The first one, Mr. Ben Weber, I was in a competition with him this summer, Clash of the Comics. And I'm pretty sure I got the lowest scores in the competition, and I'm pretty sure Ben got some great ones. I love his hair, I love his hat, I love his face. So guys, give it up for Mr. Ben Weber.